The old building stood on a quiet street, its brick facade worn but dignified. I loved the apartment instantly. High ceilings, creaky floors. It had character. The landlord, a frail man with nervous eyes, seemed hesitant about the basement. He said it was just for storage, off limits, but when he pulled the heavy door open, a cold gust of air hit me. A strong, musty smell hit my nose. Bad vibes definitely lived down there. I knew it. We finished the paperwork. I signed the lease, ignoring the feeling of unease that lingered. I was excited about the apartment, about making it my own. Little did I know I wouldn't be alone. The first few weeks were uneventful. Then it started. 3 a.m., like clockwork. Loud bangs echoed from the apartment above. Footsteps pounded the floorboards. One night, it sounded like furniture was being dragged across the floor. I lay in bed, heart racing, fear tightening my chest. This was no ordinary neighbor. I tried everything. Earplugs, white noise, even banging on the ceiling with a broom. Nothing worked. The 3 a.m. disturbances continued, each night more unsettling than the last. My once peaceful apartment had become a prison of fear. Sleep became a luxury. Exhaustion was my constant companion, but fear was a close second. I started noticing other things, shadows moving in the corners of my eyes, objects disappearing and reappearing in different spots, a feeling of being watched, followed. The line between reality and imagination blurred. Was I going crazy, or was something truly sinister at play? I couldn't deny the evidence of my own senses. This was real, and it was terrifying. Then came the pandemic, lockdown. Confined to my apartment, the strange occurrences escalated. It was like whatever was haunting my apartment was now trapped too, and it was angry. One night, a book flew off the shelf, narrowly missing my head. Another time, I woke to find all the drawers in my dresser open. The energy in the apartment felt heavy, oppressive. I was living in a pressure cooker of fear, waiting for the inevitable explosion. One night, I woke up to a bone-chilling cold. The air was thick with a strange static. I got out of bed and walked towards the basement door. It was slightly ajar, a sliver of darkness beckoning. Driven by a force I couldn't explain, I opened the door. Standing at the bottom of the stairs, I saw him, a tall, shadowy figure with piercing eyes. He stared at me, his gaze filled with rage. I was paralyzed with fear. The figure vanished. I slammed the basement door shut and ran back to my room. The image of the ghost was seared into my mind. I knew then that whatever haunted my apartment was rooted in that basement. I couldn't escape the feeling of dread that now permeated the apartment. It felt like the basement was a mouth, slowly swallowing the light and warmth from my home. My sanctuary had become my prison. The hauntings took on a new intensity. My bike, hanging on the wall, started spinning wildly, the tires whirring. Laundry, neatly folded and stacked, was strewn across the floor. The deadbolt on my front door, locked every night, was found open on multiple occasions. I was living in a nightmare. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind through the drafty windows sent shivers down my spine. I felt hunted, stalked by an unseen entity. My girlfriend, initially skeptical, couldn't deny the evidence. The constant noises, the strange occurrences. Even she felt the oppressive weight of the apartment. She hated staying over, her once peaceful sleep now plagued by nightmares. "There's something wrong with this place," she would say, her voice tight with anxiety. I knew she was right, but what could I do? I was trapped in a lease, bound to this haunted apartment. With only a few months left on my lease, I finally confronted the landlord. "There's something going on in the apartment," I said, my voice shaking. "Is there something you need to tell me?" He hesitated, avoiding my gaze. "The previous tenant," he mumbled, "the one who lived upstairs. They died in the apartment. They say his spirit never left." I moved into my girlfriend's apartment that next day, but continued to pay the rent until my lease ended, leaving behind the haunted apartment and the secrets it held. I can still feel the chill of that basement, still see the ghostly figure in my mind's eye. The experience changed me. It shook my skepticism, forced me to confront the possibility of a world beyond our understanding.